been following along with this part drama, part tragedy, you'll know that the initial pour sort of failed. It's worth going back and checking out that video because it'll put this all in context for you. But suffice it to say, here we are. And this has been fully cured. And I think you can actually see that Bruce is pretty visible. And Hooper is in his cage trying to desperately fight off this shark. And you can see my blood in the water. And that has sort of worked quite nicely. So there's a lot of positives here. And this is an awful lot of fun. Now I can tell you officially, this sucker weighs 140 pounds. 140 pounds. So in fact, this stand that it's on actually collapsed under the weight of this. So I'm very proud. I'm very proud of this train wreck. Now, if you can see on this side, I've already removed the front glass, and I've also removed this side glass here, and it's really extremely clear. All these air bubbles that you can see here, I intend to clean them out and sand them down. And I think you'll agree, the top of this kind of looks like ocean. So I think there's a lot to work with there. So I'm gonna remove this side glass, and then I'm gonna continue to work on the back. Now I will say the back glass is obviously made of something very different. I'm not sure what. It did have some kind of a black paint on it, and it has not released itself. So I'm gonna have to chip away at that. You don't need to see me do it, but it is worth showing you on this side that this has come away quite nicely, and I obviously was intending to leave this in here, so there's no release agent on it. So I'm pretty impressed that it actually gave way, but it did. So let me take this down here and get this out of the way. A little bit of a stand here. Let me get this off of this. There. Let me show you this. Isn't this interesting? Check this out. Absolutely no release agent, and that is crystal clear. So this is a really beautiful resin. And in the hands of a professional, I think you could do something really cool with it. Now, I've actually got a few gallons left, and I have to tell you, I may do another version of this, perhaps with the Orca. I don't know if you know about the McFarland series, but they have an Orca boat, and I thought it might be fun to take that, clean it up, cut it away from the shark that's on it and the little bit of water that's around it, and maybe get another one of these Pegasus sharks and play with something like that with the resin I've got, because that'll only be an inch of resin, and it's worth playing with it just to see what you can do. But there you go. This is released absolutely nicely. There's not a stitch of resin on this, and this is crystal clear. Look at it. So that is quite impressive. So now the plan is to chip away at the back of this, which is going to take me a little bit of time. I'll clean up these. You can see this is a bit of a mess, and it just didn't release. So it's going to require a lot of chipping just to get that away, but that'll be okay. We'll make that work. And then you can see here, I've got a few bubbles like this one here, which is really interesting. No idea why it caused that pocketing, but it did. So it's, you know, it is part of the sort of the bummer of this, but as you can see, it's pretty darn clear. And I think that's really impressive, and it does give the impression that it's in water. So I'm relatively happy with it. So the next step now is to clean up the back and get this ready for polishing and sanding, and it'll be ready for its final reveal. Obviously we're waiting for Wayne to get his resin, so I don't know when that will be, but I am pretty proud of myself for continuing on and not quitting, and we'll clean this up and we'll make it look beautiful. And I'm here to tell you officially that I will never do this again. So anyway, come on back when we've cleaned this up. Boy, is this a hunk of junk. Now, this is my challenge build, which I have done with Wayne over at World of Wayne. We both had the same kit, and the challenge was to install this kit, which is the Pegasus Shark kit, into a scene from the movie Jaws, where Hooper is in the cage and he's being attacked by the shark. And if you haven't seen any of these videos, please go check World of Wayne and check his Jaws build, and you can check mine, obviously. They're there for you to enjoy and snicker at as you please. I say that all with a lot of fun and affection, because I have to say, ultimately, I had a lot of fun building this. I really did. And the challenge of pouring this much resin into some kind of a finished piece was no easy feat. And you can see from our previous videos what the challenges were. And they were many, and it all starts with the reality of, if you've never poured a deep pour resin before, then you are in for a world of hurt if you try to do something this large out of the gate. You're going to run into some trouble. And the first thing that we realized, and I realized of course, is that deep pour resin must be poured into a proper mold that has release agent on it, that isn't glass. It has to be acrylic, and it could be some kind of a wood with wax paper in front of it, as long as it has a release agent on it. But acrylic is the best way to go. However, good luck trying to get the resin to actually stay in something like that, because the immense weight of this means that what it will want to do is expand, not contract, and push, even as it starts to cool. And so we had all kinds of issues. I had all kinds of issues. And the first genius thing that of course happened was that as the pour got larger and larger, I started to get a sort of a little spent with it mentally. And so I did a couple of stupid things. One is I don't think I maintained complete accuracy with my mix. I followed all the instructions to the T. I mixed everything as it was asked to be mixed in clean containers, and I did keep the pour to under 4 inches. And for you folks who live over in Europe who are watching this train wreck, the 4 inches is actually 100 millimeters, and you're supposed to keep it to under that, which I did. But one of the pours, I pushed it all the way to the 100 millimeter, the 4 inch level, and I had the most enormous exothermic reaction. The glass superheated. Now I tried to keep the room cool. I always keep the hobby shop at a level 72 degrees. But that particular night, I thought it was cool enough to not have the air conditioning running, and the next thing you know is the glass started to shatter on all sides. Now, it was removed from its glass quite easily. The front and the 2 sides of my tank, and I had an interesting tank because it had this angled front, which I thought was kind of interesting. The glass removed quite fine. But the glass that was used for the back in this particular aquarium that I poured this into, it had a black paint on it. And given the fact that there was 0 release agent, this is what happened. You can see it just completely did this when I tried to chisel it off. And I spent hours trying to chisel off these shards of glass. It's insane. It was absolutely insane. That. So you can see here, you've got quite a bit of clarity in this block of junk. And it kind of worked out well. I've got a little bit of video to show you here, just to sort of show you some movement. So as you can see, you know, it's okay. It's not great. You can see here where I've got all of the air that got caught inside of the mold. Now, an awful lot of it went away when I was able to pour back into the air pockets themselves. But some of the air pockets, I was too late. It had set up too fast, and I couldn't get resin to get back into those pockets, and so you get this sort of an effect. But you can see there's Hooper there, and Bruce is attacking him, and I will let me bring sort of Phil Cam over here, and you can see up close and personal that there he is, hiding in the sort of quagmire that it is. And there it is. He's floating in the resin, and the shark is attacking him. And if I come up here and I sort of do this for you, you can see that there's a little bit of blood floating over the tank. That's kind of cool. And you can see a little bit of Bruce and Hooper down in there. So there it is. I have to say that it was an enormously satisfying event to have this finished, or at least to say stop. But full of disappointment that we couldn't actually get something that would be a little more dramatic and worthwhile. I've tried to light this 10 ways from Sunday, and it doesn't really make a whole difference. You can definitely get light in here. In fact, let me do this, because I think it's worth it. Take a look what happens when we light it up. It's sort of interesting. You get this sort of interesting effect. It does brighten it up quite a bit, and give you you know, a much more sort of dramatic look at it. And I have tried Wayne's super secret wave machine to to create that ocean effect, but I don't know. You know, for me, I thought that was like putting lipstick on a pig. Yeah. So I didn't bother to finish this diorama. I started to build a whole video about how I was going to turn this into Quint's, you know, boat dock. But I thought to myself, what's the point? I have no idea where this is going to end up. It may end up as a time capsule to be dug up in 100 years by somebody who's going to wonder what they found. Or it could be a doorstop, or we'll just leave it outside and you know, pretend that it doesn't exist. I don't know. If you can't see it on camera, so it's a little disappointing, but looking down into it, it's quite clear. But I can tell you, even though I did fix all of my kit in the acrylic, I painted this in acrylics, and then I sealed it with several coats of varnish, and I let it dry for a good couple of weeks. And it did okay, but there are some places where I am starting to see the paint come off the models. So that was disappointing as well. Overall, I would say if you're going to try to do something like this, and you certainly can, I would say working with resin is very expensive and it's very difficult. So unless you really know what you're doing or you can seek advice from those who can help you, I wouldn't I wouldn't bother. I wouldn't bother. So let me close by saying it was great fun. It was an awesome challenge. There's a more exciting challenge coming, and I feel really, really, really bad about sending Wayne down this stupid rabbit hole. But I'm making it up to him, and we're going to announce a sort of an extension of this, if not in this show, but right away, certainly very, very soon. But this is it, the finished model, and a close to the chapter of build the jaws, build the movies, build jaws, and put it in resin. So until we meet again, be well, be safe, build something, and I'll see you next time. Take care, everybody.